welcome to the Upside Up podcast. My name is Jeremy. I'm joined today by my good buddy and friend, Garrett Horn. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm stellar today, Jeremy.
Glad to hear it. Today on the show, we're going to give you a quick overview of what we are trying to accomplish on our show and what you can expect. What?
Which is what?
Well, you're going to find out along with the rest of the people. I kidnapped him to come in here. We are very excited for you to be with us. I'm very excited to have him with me on this show, this project that we can enjoy together, learn from, have a good influence on other people. That's really what we're hoping for.
I'm just here for the free food.
There is free food. Well, maybe. I hope so. Anyway, I'm going to be bringing a story, an embarrassing story from my life that happened recently to the table, and we can talk about that, learn from it. And then we're going to have, I hope to be a fan favorite segment, Justin's Jokes. Many of you might know this Justin, but he's a good friend of ours, goes to church with us, and he's notorious for his jokes. And so we're going to feature those on the show and hopefully get a good laugh out of them. Then Garrett's going to bring some thoughts. He has something prepared for us today, and then we'll close it out. So if you're ready, let's get started.
I'm ready, man.
All right, so what are we trying to accomplish on this show? Like I said, we want to be a good influence to others, and we're called the Upside Up Podcast for a reason. That name came about because we want to live upside up in an upside down world. It's no secret to anyone that the world is going downhill from a biblical standpoint. And it's very disappointing to us. It's troublesome, and we want to be a shining light in this dark world, this world that just seems to be getting darker and darker. So that's what we're trying to do here. We hope we entertain you by doing it, but there's going to be some times where we're going to be serious. There's going to be times where we're just messing with each other. So hopefully that'll be entertaining for you.
And I like this new mic. I've never been in front of a mic before.
I haven't either, really. I mean, I guess I've had talent shows or whatever where I've been in front of a mic, but and in front of the people at church, but this is definitely a new experience.
Yeah, so, but I don't have any talent. So.
Well, we know that, but neither do I, so it's fine. Hopefully this will be fun for you to listen to. So the format of the show, as I mentioned, we're each going to bring a topic to the table each time, each episode, and we'll have Justin's jokes in between. We may be joined by guests from time to time. We can learn from their lives, and I think that'll be exciting for you to listen to, as well as fun for us. So we're looking forward to that, definitely. Before we get into our topics, I want to give a quick plug how you would interact with us. We are hoping to have questions answered on the show from you, the listener. So we definitely want you to send us questions in each week. We'll give you more information about that, but in case you're wondering, we do have a Facebook, Upside Up Podcast on Facebook. You can search that and find us on there. Give us a like, and you can be notified when new releases come out, new posts, etc. As well as on Twitter, at Upside Up Podcast. So you can find us on there as well, and that will be a really good way to interact with us. It's easier to interact on Twitter. I find it, at least. All right, with all of that out of the way, I'm going to share a very embarrassing story that I don't know if Garrett, I don't know if you have heard all of this story. You may have heard some of it as I've told people around you and that kind of thing, but you, the listener, may already know this story, but it's definitely embarrassing to me, and so I think that it'll be pretty funny for us to talk about, and something that we can definitely learn from. I hope I can learn from it at least, because I'm not exactly sure what to take from it. So, as I preface my story, there is a gentleman who was a counselor at a camp that I would go to who is now the preacher at our congregation. I will only refer to him as Stephen, and I will not mention his last name nor anyone in his family, but so I'll just try to do that at least. I don't want to... it doesn't hurt his reputation, the story, at all, but I don't want to embarrass anyone in his family in case they were to listen to this. But so Mr. Stephen, he was my counselor at camp for years. And he's kind of a brash, bold, blunt guy. And it's great as a preacher. And as a kid, when you're like 6, well, I guess not 6, I guess it'd be 9 or 10, it's a little frightening. It's intimidating. So I grew up intimidated by this man. And it was, I don't know, it was a growing period in my life where it was hard to interact with him without making a fool of myself. And as you see, I apparently haven't grown out of that. So anyway, so you know that he's intimidating. You know that. Mm-hmm. He is now the preacher at our congregation that we go to together. And when I heard the news that he was going to be the preacher at our congregation, it struck some fear inside of me just because I knew that he was intimidating.
Yeah.
But I was excited because we've been waiting to get a preacher for a while. So I'm very thankful he's there. He's a fantastic preacher. Very godly man. Has a very great family. We love him to death. But I'm still intimidated by him. So with all that being said, I work at a Christian bookstore. At this Christian bookstore, we obviously sell Christian books. And
no way.
Yeah, well, yes. I know it's hard to believe, but we do.
Oh.
And they're especially textbooks, so like for class material and that kind of thing. And one day he called. It was a Wednesday. I was still new at this job. He calls and he talks to our sales representative, and he's like, "I need 50 Creating Me a Clean Heart textbooks." So our sales representative takes this order and brings it to me. He mentions that he wants me to take it to church that night. This was a Wednesday. And so I said, okay, great, I can do that. Do you know who it was that you talked to? Because she mentioned it was just somebody from our congregation.
Right.
And she said the last name of the individual. And I said, okay, it was Stephen. No problem, I'll get that together. And it'll be great. I'm a responsible young man. I can do this. I know how to do my job, and I can do this job. So I go immediately and go pull those 50 books. I counted those books like 4 times to make sure I didn't miscount and look like an idiot. You'll need to remember that, look like an idiot.
Okay.
Well, I did.
I like where this is going.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty funny. It's a pretty funny story, I think. So anyway, I pull these books. And I need a box to carry them in. We have a bunch of recycled boxes in this little corner. And one of the boxes, I just grab one, and I notice that it says Christianity and Islam written on it. So the reason why that's written on there is we have some tracts that are on Christianity and Islam.
Right.
And so that's what it was referring to, but it was an empty box. So I just put the books in there, and I put them on a shelf. And I was like, I will take those out to my car in a moment. Or I may just take them at the end of the day. I don't want to, leave the job. I'm trying to put in a hard day's work. I'm new here, all that kind of stuff. So I decided I'll just leave them there and I'll take them when I go home or when I leave. Well, I obviously did not think about it the rest of the day. Those that know me have a one-track mind, and so I started thinking about something else, and that's the end of the story. I didn't think about them the rest of the day. So I spend an hour and a half left at work and completely forget them. And I leave work and don't think about them the rest of the day until we're at Chick-fil-A. I'm at my parents' there to eat dinner. And my dad goes, we're like almost done with our meal. My dad goes, hey, there's Steven and his family. And about this moment, I realize what I have done.
You got that pit in your stomach.
Yes, and the world crashed in before me. I'm like, are you serious? How could I be so irresponsible? I'm trying to impress this man.
Did you hide from him?
I hid in the bathroom. No. He came up to us and said that he came up and shook our hands and everything. And I said hi to him. And I'm thinking in my mind, it can't be that big of a deal. And this is why. He called in the middle of a quarter, like literally the middle of a quarter, and I can't figure out what these books, why they would be needed so badly, and so I'm just like, it'll be fine. I forgot them. Boo-hoo on me. I'm a fool. Oh well, we'll get over it. He'll probably tease me for the rest of my life for it.
Well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved. That is very true. But we'll get over it. Well, he comes up and he says, do you have the books for me? You got some books for me? And I said, shaking his hand, I said, well, I would, but I forgot them. And I'm expecting a that's all right as long as I can get them on Sunday or whatever. Why would he need them in the middle of the week? That's what I couldn't figure out. Rather, the reaction I got was, and I am not exaggerating, this is how my brain remembers it. Maybe it's an exaggeration in my mind, but this is how I remember it. Listen closely. And that was a face palm. And he's like distraught. And I'm like, what have I done? Like, how does he need these books right now? And my mom was kind of alarmed and stuff. And I'm like, what have I done? And he looks at his watch and he's like, they've already closed out. And I was like, yes, sir. And he's like, that's all right. He starts to play it off. I'll pick him up tomorrow. It's all good. And I'm apologizing. He's like, it's fine.
But really, he's seething.
Yeah, he is. He's like, what an idiot. Why did I trust him? And so I feel terrible now. They get their food. We're almost done. And they, of course, sit in the booth directly behind us because, just to rub it in, I'm sure. And I go up to him feeling terrible. And I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'll go there on my off day and pick him up and take him to him early in the morning. So at least he'll have them as soon as I can get them to him. So I go up to him and offer that. And that was twofold. The reason I did that was, one, to make myself seem a little more responsible, trying to take responsibility for my actions, for my foolishness. The other thing was that, if you recall, they're in a Christianity and Islam box, and the title of the book is Creating Me a Clean Heart, and no one has any idea where they are. So if he were to go in, they're not labeled our congregation or anything. They'd be like, they may not be able to find them.
Right.
So I feel the responsibility to go do that. So I go and do that. I pick him up. Joy, our friend Joy, laughs at me as I walk in the door because she knows that part of the story. And I pick him up and put him in my car, and I take him out there. I had some other errands to run, but I went straight to his house. And they have recently moved into a new home. And he gave me the address, and so I just, plugged it into Maps or whatever, Siri, and, take me there. And rather, it leaves me in the middle of an intersection. And it says your destination's on the left or something. I'm like, are you serious? So I'm looking up and down the street. New house. So of course it's not in Siri, you bozo. And I can't find him anywhere. And so now I have to call him. Where's your house? And he goes, I was like, I put it in my phone and I can't find it. Or I put it in Siri. I can't find it. And he's like, oh yeah, Siri won't know where this is yet. And he points me in the direction, and I finally find it. And I take him. I take the books to him. He's very gracious and everything. I apologize again, eat some crow, and I leave. Well,
did you give him the wrong books?
I gave him the right books.
Okay.
And as far as I know, they were counted right. I haven't heard otherwise. He probably wouldn't tell me otherwise. Let's just say that I didn't give him the right books, because that's probably what I did. I mean, I gave him the right books. I mean, the number.
Right.
Probably the way this story goes. Well, a couple weeks pass. I get better at my job. I learned from this mistake. And he comes in the store. I'm from the back, and I was going to do something. And I come up to the front counter, and he's there, and he's holding in his hand 3 Creating Me a Clean Heart books. And I'm like, well, hey, Mr. Steven, how you doing? He's like, doing well. And he looks at me, and he notices he's holding these books, and he goes, I decided to pick them up myself this time. And I was like, deserved shot. That was absolutely deserved. I laughed about it. I deserved to be teased about that. I expected it, really, I guess. But so he buys these books. He said he needed extra ones. They miscounted or something. So anyway, he bought what we had left. Maybe you miscounted. Probably. But regardless, he bought them. Put them on the account, and then he wanted to buy some of our hymnals that we had on sale. That's our publication. And so he buys 15 of these books. A lady I work with, someone she says, Jeremy, why don't you ring him up while she does something else? So I said, okay, I can do that. I know how to do my job. Uh-huh. I know how to do my job. He comes up to my cash register and swipey, give him the receipt. Sign here, please. Signy. I give, and we, it's all hunky dory. I'm not making a fool of myself. I'm on the up. I'm on the up and up, as they say. Well,
upside up, right?
Upside up, yes. I'm on the upside up. Well, we're talking back and forth, just regular banter. How you doing? Blah blah blah. And it comes up somehow that he's our preacher. And the lady that was working with me at the time goes, oh, "You're a preacher? Jeremy, re-ring him and give him his discount."
Jeremy.
So at our store, we give preachers a 10% discount. And I completely forgot about that. I don't know if I've ever done it, at least in POS. I may have done it on people's accounts, but it wasn't something I was familiar with, but I just completely forgot. So now, not only am I not responsible enough to give him his books when he asks for them, now I'm not responsible enough to give him his discount, which I don't even think he knew he got, but I have to go through the trouble of refunding his money and charging him again at a cheaper price, but still going through this bother, and I just look like a blubbering idiot on the counter. So I'm thoroughly embarrassed. Joy gets a huge laugh out of it, and well, maybe not huge, but she thought it was funny. You know, Joy. And I go on my way humiliated. I tell my girlfriend this, my family, that kind of stuff, and hoping that was the last thing. Well, I was wrong. The last thing that happened, the last thoroughly embarrassing moment that occurred was later that weekend. There was a graduation party at a family's house that we go to church with for the graduates that had just graduated from high school and that kind of stuff, just celebrating them and having a get together. It was outside. We're having fun. We play the whole day. I mean, the whole afternoon. We're playing games, all kinds of stuff. And I notice him around. I'm like, don't make a fool of yourself in front of him this time, please. And the whole night goes by, and I didn't make a fool of myself. I did pretty good. But I left. And I even played Frisbee with him. And I can make a fool of myself in Frisbee. I love Frisbee, but, I'm kind of boneheaded sometimes. So I played with him, didn't make a complete fool of myself. I felt pretty good, and I headed out. Well, after Frisbee, Katie, my cousin, comes up to me and asks me if I can take her home. Because her parents were going to leave and she wanted to keep staying around. And I told her that I could, but I was about to leave here in a little bit. I had some stuff to do at home, see my family who had just returned from a trip. And she was like, "Oh, okay, well, I may just go home with my parents." And that was, as far as I remember, that was the only thing that was said between us. And she moved on and did her own thing. So I played some more games, whatever. And then I was like, it's getting dark. I need to go home. So I said goodbye to everyone, and I go up to my car. And I'm driving home, and all of a sudden I realize Katie asked me to take her home. I wonder if she still needed that. So I give her a phone call. I'm like, "Did you need me to take you home?" And she was like, "Well, I can get somebody else. It's okay." Because apparently her family had already left. I just completely forgot about it. And it was left unresolved. I wasn't the fool in this state. Neither was she. It was just, we just didn't communicate well. Well, I want to be responsible. So I'm going to go and take her. I'm going to go back and pick her up and take her home. I wasn't far from her where she is, so I'll just go and pick her up. Well, so I have two things on my mind. I got to get home, and after I pick up Katie. Got to pick up Katie, go home. Pick up Katie, go home. Pick up Katie, go home. So I get there, and I'm trying to find where she is, and I head down this hill. Now, the house that we are on has a steep decline down to the backyard, and it's dark. Well, if those things weren't a recipe for disaster enough, there was a black bag with, those canopy things that people have. It's like a tent canopy. It's got the 4 posts, and it's like for shade when you're camping or whatever.
Yes.
Well, there was a family there that had one of those in a black bag laying in the shadow. So I'm thinking, gotta find Katie, gotta go home. It's dark. There's a black bag in the shadow. You see where this is going? Well, I go down this hill trying to find Katie, and all of a sudden, my right foot doesn't hit the ground like I expected it to. I've tripped over the bag. and it's on a decline. Now, normally, I'm a decently balanced young man. I can usually keep myself from falling on my face, but I'm on a decline.
You start rolling down the hill.
Well, I didn't roll. It was a little worse than that because my instinct was try to catch yourself.
Uh-huh.
And every step kept getting worse and worse and worse. And so I am bumbling and stumbling down this hill trying to catch myself. And like every step, I look drunk is what it is. I'm trying to get down this hill. And I end up tucking my right leg under and sliding down. It was all reflex. I didn't really think about it. But I slid down the hill a little bit and then I popped up. Well, there are still people in this backyard. And you're thinking right now, Stephen was back there. He saw you. Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing. End of the story. Well, no. He was there. He was coming up the hill while I was going down the hill. And his family was with him. So his whole family watched me bumble down this hill. And if that's not bad enough, I'm going to scoot back from the mic a little bit. In his preacher man's voice, very intimidating man, the only thing he can think to say with every step that I bumble down this hill is, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" And I'm thoroughly embarrassed. Everyone is looking at me in the entire backyard. I can see bumble down this hill, and there's a Jackson's at the bottom of the hill, and he was like, "Yeah, Jeremy," and gives me a high five. And
go Jackson.
Yeah, the last thing that happened, the last thing I heard was Steven saying, "I give it a 9.5," and he walked off. And I've never been the same since. Really, every time I'm around him, I'm a little uneasy because wonder what I'm going to do next. So stay tuned for an update because I'm sure I'll do something incredibly stupid. But yeah, that was my fill with Steven recently. So my question is, what do I learn from this? Because every time I'm around him, well, not every time, but, often I make a complete fool of myself. So, advice. Dead air. That's good advice. Thanks.
Don't trip over black bags on a steep hill.
Okay. I'll try to remember.
I think that's good advice.
I think it's good advice, too, but, you see, I didn't see it. It was black in the shadow in the dark. So, I didn't do it on purpose, obviously. But, yeah, I don't know. I've thought about it, and I guess I just because I'm intimidated by him, and because the embarrassing things keep happening, I'm trying not to make a fool of myself, and in doing so, I make a fool of myself. It's funny how that works when you try to do something.
Well, my guess is he probably doesn't think about you what you think he thinks about you.
Well, probably not, but I'm a young man. I'm 20 years old. I'm trying to grow up in this world, trying to be of good report, not let anyone despise my youth, and I'm bumbling down this hill. I think that's pretty despising. So,
nah,
I don't know.
I mean, you gotta think he how many people he comes into contact with. You're probably only number 5 on his most hated list.
Yeah, probably Garrett's 3. So, which I can't blame him.
Dude, he's doing my wedding, so
that is a good point.
I'm number 1 on his favorite list.
What if he's what if at the wedding he tries to make a fool of it, like just breaks it up? What if he doesn't think y'all are meant for each other?
He's fired.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
But I don't think he'll do that because he seems pretty excited about doing it.
Yeah, I think he will. I'm just completely kidding. Well, so apparently the lessons that we learn here is don't trip over a black bag.
On a steep hill.
On a steep hill. You can trip over them otherwise. Don't put things in a Christianity and Islam box. I think that was a mistake, number 1. And maybe leave myself notes. That would be helpful, probably. Yeah. I forget things pretty often, so maybe that would be helpful. All right, now it is time for, hopefully, we hope, this is a fan favorite segment. Drum roll, please. Thank you. All right, now Justin sent me this joke. When we have him on the show as a guest, hopefully he can bring a joke with him and present himself. But this is what he got for me. So, you ready? Okay. What kind of exercise do lazy people do?
What?
Diddly squats.
Justin, don't quit your day job. Does he come up with these, or does he?
I have no idea, but he's always coming up to me at church, and be like, "Hey, man, what kind of exercise do lazy people do?"
Diddly squats.
And I mean, how do you respond to that? I guess crickets.
It's like he's not a dad yet, but it's like he's already an expert on dad jokes.
I think he was born with them.
Yeah, I think it's just
Is it genetic?
It might
what
be.
What if his kids have dad jokes?
And Amber is his cousin, my fiance.
That is.
So should I be concerned about that?
Well, if your wife brings dad jokes, I think that would be alarming. Yes. Anyway, okay, moving on.
That was awkward.
Well, of course it is. We're new at this. All right, man. Okay. It is time for what you have to bring to the table. And from what you've told me about it, I think it's going to be embarrassing for me as well. So maybe we'll have to name the episode something in regards to that. So, shoot.
All right, so we're going to Disney next week on a pretty cool trip. And so I've been thinking about Disney a lot. And for me, like, I grew up on Disney movies. Like, they shaped my childhood.
Right,
Lion King, Finding Nemo, Aladdin, Toy Story.
Did they make you who you are?
In some ways.
In some ways.
Disney movies and Alabama football.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
unbeatable combo.
Well, unless it's Auburn football. Go ahead.
No comment.
Okay.
Anyway, but one thing, when I was growing up, and as I got into high school and college, like when we would talk about our childhood, it was just almost understood. It was almost understood that you had seen these movies. Lion King, yeah, man. You could start a discussion with Lion King with anyone. But then we became friends, and it's like, yo, Jeremy, have you seen this Disney movie? And you're like, no. And it's just like, I don't know what to say to that. And so this is what really started.
Does it make you lose respect for me?
No, it doesn't make me lose respect. It's just like, what did you do with your time in your childhood?
I'll tell you what I did. I
watched Lion King. My mom told me I used to watch Lion King like 5 times a day.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in years, but I have the lines memorized. So, and I'm not the only one that thinks this. So, in fact, we had an entire party dedicated for Jeremy to watch The Lion King. So
I was 16 years old, by the way.
16?
16 or 17. I actually think I was 17.
17 years old. This is what we're dealing with, people.
Disclaimer, I think I've probably seen parts of it before that, but...
And that's another thing about Jeremy. He has seen parts of every movie, or most movies. Like, I'll say, Jeremy, have you seen whatever movie? He's like, parts of it. I'm like, how do you sit down and watch part of a movie?
Well,
I mean, like...
the reason
you have no idea what happens at the end.
I don't.
Everything's death and despair, and then he doesn't get the happy ending. So
yeah, I don't watch the whole movies because I get bored. That is the problem. I get severely bored when watching.
You get bored watching Disney movies.
Not Disney movies, but a lot of the Disney movies, I just didn't have really an opportunity to watch them. We didn't buy the cassettes. We recorded Blue's Clues off the TV, and that's what I spent my time watching. If I wasn't doing that, I was playing Blue's Clues. I was playing outside, or I was playing with cars or something like that. Boy stuff. But
are you saying Disney movies aren't boy stuff?
That's what I'm saying, Garrett. I'm sorry, but that's what I'm saying. No, but so I just didn't watch a whole lot of movies in general, and I couldn't sit still as a kid. So 30 minutes of Blue's Clues, that was about all I could take. But when you throw a movie in, I would get bored or I get emotional and stuff, and I just didn't like getting emotional as a kid watching a movie. Like, one of these that you're going to mention is the Toy Story. I've seen parts of that movie because it got too sad at one point, and I was just like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
But it ends happy.
Well,
spoiler alert.
It is a spoiler alert because, as we're going to find out, I haven't seen that one.
So what I've done is I went online. I found a list of supposedly the top 25 Disney movies based on their critical rankings. Now, this is from a website called disdb.com. Have no idea if it's reliable or not, but we're rolling with it.
Yeah.
And
it's like I'm
just gonna roll through these and see get a feel of which of the top 25 Disney movies I've seen. I'm just gonna kind of give some commentary on some of them too, because I love Disney. Like, I think I was going through these, and I think there's only about 3 of the top 25 that I haven't seen, and like I haven't heard of the 3 that I haven't seen. So, number 1, we already established, The Lion King. You've seen that one?
I've seen that one.
So, we're going to mark that one with an S.
Okay.
But I mean, still, people were talking about he was 16
Actually, I think I was
16
17.
or 17 when he first saw The Lion King.
Yeah.
All right, so
What can I say?
what about Aladdin?
I've seen it, but I saw that maybe a year ago. You see, now that I have a girlfriend, they have Disney movies at their house, and I watch these with her. So some of these I've seen, but I've seen them in either the last 6 months to a year.
Right. See, we where we go to church, we found we had a crisis with Jeremy. He had not had a real childhood. And
I had a more real childhood than you, man. I played pretend. Have you ever played pretend?
I did play pretend.
That was pretty awesome.
I used to pretend that I was an Alabama football player and run up and down the hallway.
That doesn't surprise me in the least. I pretended I was an Auburn football player. I remember one time.
So that means I was better. Ooh.
I remember one time specifically, I was playing
Atlantically.
I was playing Auburn football in the hall, and Auburn was playing Mississippi State on the TV. And I think this is the year that in 2004 when we went undefeated, because I remember Jason Campbell and Cadillac and Ronnie Brown being there. But yeah, I did that too, and it was a great childhood. I enjoyed it. I was on Tennessee Titans a lot too.
Alabama was terrible growing up, so
yeah, those were good days. Anyway, carry on.
All right, what about Beauty and the Beast?
Seen it in the past 6 months.
That was never been my favorite.
I really liked it. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. I'm dead serious.
Really?
I really liked it. I liked the music in it. It was a sweet love story, and that Rose, man.
It's a tale as old as time.
It is.
What about The Little Mermaid?
Okay, I think I've seen parts of that. For a disclaimer there, I've seen parts because, like, I'd see them in passing at friend's house or whatever. My mom wasn't keen on letting us watch it because she's obviously in a bikini. So she was just like, steer away from that. So I haven't really seen that one much, and I probably won't.
That one's too girly for me. I wasn't a big fan, but I have seen it. So what we're doing is we're going through, we're marking S
if I've seen
if
it.
he's seen it, and S if he hasn't seen it, and P if he's seen parts of it. And we're just going to get, of the top 25, what percentage he's seen.
Okay.
All right, so Finding Nemo.
I've seen Finding Nemo. I saw it when it came out on DVD, but I hate that movie.
Yeah, you told me why. I like that movie. And the thing about that movie is, and I think most people that went to public school or private school would agree with me, like if you were going to watch a movie at school, there was probably a 75% chance that it was going to be Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
Because it was clean and it was really, really popular. And it kind of got old watching it all the time, but at the same time, it was better than doing schoolwork, so it wasn't too bad.
Right.
All right, so Toy Story.
I have not seen the complete... I've seen parts of it. But I have not seen the complete one. I do not know how it ends. I have seen Toy Story 3 and parts of 2. But I've seen all of 3, and I like 3, but apparently it was like a remake of a different movie, so who knows?
Toy Story is the first movie I remember seeing in theaters. Came out in 1995, which is before you were born.
It's true.
I'm not that much older, but anyway, I remember going with my grandmother to see it, and I loved it ever since. Probably one of my top 10 favorite movies.
That is one that I want to see badly, but my girlfriend's family doesn't have it right now, I don't think.
Well, it's on the internet.
How?
Amazon. You can just rent it for like $2.
Yeah, well, I'm cheap.
Okay. Pretty sure you've seen this one, Tangled.
Yes, I do like that movie. I don't think I saw it until like 3 years after it came out, but it's good.
Yeah, it's only been out since 2010, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Now, the next one I haven't even heard of, and I have not seen it. It's called Spirited Away from 2001.
I've never heard of it.
If one of you wants to give us some feedback about what that's about, I have never heard of that movie, but apparently
we'll feature that next week.
It was really highly critically reviewed because it got an 87.93 rating, so maybe it's worth seeing, but I have never heard of that movie.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to watch that one.
Monsters, Inc. I think I was with you when you saw this one.
No, that's actually... Well, okay, I saw parts of it when I was little, and about middle of the way through, it started to be really sad. My sister was out of the house that night, and so it was me and my mom and my dad, and we were watching this movie, and I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. It's too sad. And I'm like, okay, so I went to bed.
All right, then. The thing I'll always remember about Monsters, Inc. was... and if you're, I guess, younger than 12, you probably don't even know what these are, but cassettes. The cassettes for these were blue, and I loved the blue
that is cool.
cassette. Yeah. And I really like the movie Monsters, Inc. You're going to see I pretty much love all these movies. Big Hero 6.
I saw that one in theaters. So.
Okay. That's a good movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
It's Big Hero 6 is actually, I'm showing my nerdiness a little bit here. Big Hero 6 is actually a comic made by Marvel.
Oh, really?
And it's I've never read the comic, but it's apparently really, really different than the movie. But I love superheroes a lot.
Yeah.
Spider-Man for the win. And so I like Big Hero 6 a lot.
Gotcha. Is that a shameless plug?
Yes.
Okay.
Spider-Man, to anyone listening, Spider-Man would beat any superhero you put him up against, and don't even try to argue with that. Thank you.
You're making a mockery of this.
What about Inside Out?
I saw that one in theaters. That's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Inside Out. I like that one okay. I mean, I give it like a 7 out of 10.
The reason
maybe.
I like it so much is because it's so deep, and I like the trains of thought and how it would just disappear. I thought that was interesting. So anyway, go ahead.
Mary Poppins. Now this is going to be funny because I think I've only seen parts of Mary Poppins, but this is the only one. This is the only one on the list that it's like that.
Well, I have seen all of that. Recently, I've seen all of it. I don't know if I had seen all of it before a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago or two. But it was played a lot at get-togethers with friends. My friends loved it so much, my cousins, and so I didn't ever like it, but it was good now that I've seen it.
It came out recently in 1964.
Yeah, the other day.
What about Lady and the Tramp?
Lady and the Tramp. Is that... Yes, I have seen parts of that one.
All right, parts of it.
I saw parts of it, I think, 2 weeks ago. So
with your girlfriend?
Yes. You see, if we had done this podcast episode about a year ago, there would be a lot more not scenes. But I didn't finish the movie. I have no idea how it ends. Alyssa said it wasn't that impressive how it ends.
Yeah, shout out to Alyssa for getting Jeremy cultured.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
What about Up?
Okay, I have seen parts of Up, and I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch it because the first part is so emotional. The first time I watched it, man, I was struggling to not bawl in front of my dad. I was like, do not cry, Jeremy. Do not cry.
Yeah, I love that movie. The beginning is probably one of the most sad.
It's touching though.
It's really sad. One of the saddest parts of movies I've ever seen. But
I've
yeah,
seen parts of it.
I like that movie a lot. Song of the South. I've never seen that one.
I have not. Seen that
I think that movie actually. I'm not sure if it's even sold anymore because it had some like racial stuff in it.
Oh, okay.
It was made back in 1946.
Okay.
So I have not seen that one. We'll mark that one. What about McFarland USA?
No, I have not seen that. I've heard of it. It's a newer.
You've heard of that?
Yeah, it's. I think it's about like a track team or something.
I've never heard of that one.
So yeah, that's a newer one. I haven't seen.
You haven't seen that one, okay. What about Mulan?
I have seen that one multiple times. I don't particularly care for it, but the music's great.
Yeah.
Me and my sister used to listen to music while we would we'd just like play and that kind of stuff. We listen to music all the time.
Just remember, Jeremy, be a man.
I'm trying, man, but apparently in front of Steven, I'm a blubbering idiot. Anyway, go ahead.
What about Sleeping Beauty?
I've not seen Sleeping Beauty at all. I don't think. I hear that it's the same as Snow White.
Same premise.
Yeah, so I'm not. I've seen parts of Snow White, and
No, you've seen Snow White, I think.
I don't think I got to the ending. Maybe I did.
Did you like how she sang?
She was terrible. We watched this together okay, so my girlfriend and his fiance, they're sisters, and so we were at their house one day, and we decided to put it in, and oh man, that was horrible. One of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I like the Dwarfs' Hi Ho song.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
They harmonize in that song really well.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, for like Sleeping Beauty, I don't really like that one. It's got a kind of a cool dragon in it, but she gets stabbed.
Oh, really?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well,
I think if I remember right, she had like green blood or something. Just a little fact about that.
All right, little tidbit.
Peter Pan.
I have seen, I believe, all of Peter Pan, and that happened about 3 months ago.
Peter Pan, it's okay.
I wasn't thrilled with it. I couldn't understand where they were trying to go with it. I still don't understand. Anyway, move on.
They were trying to not grow up. That's the whole thing. They didn't want to grow up, so they went to Neverland. Well, then she kind of has to grow up in Neverland. Oh. She grows up, like, not physically, but, like, emotionally, because she has...
Mature. Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
Deep, man. Ever since AP 12 in high school, I've been overanalyzing everything.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Okay.
number 20, we got Robin Hood.
Now that's your favorite, isn't it?
It's not my favorite, but I love Robin Hood.
Well, I've seen probably the first 10 minutes of it.
We're not even counting that. That's not seen.
And I love the. Is he a chicken?
Yeah.
Like that was genius. I really like that. But it reminded me too much of the Jungle Book. So.
Yeah. Actually,
seen.
a lot of the same voice actors for Robin Hood are in the Jungle Book, and I really like. You didn't even get the part. The song "Not in Nottingham." It's a really good country song. They should play that on the radio, even though it wouldn't make much sense.
All right.
What about Frozen?
I've seen Frozen more times than I ever want to see it.
Okay, so Frozen.
We saw that in theaters.
Everybody has seen that.
Unfortunately,
I like Frozen. Okay, probably not as much as
like
everybody. I'm surprised it's so low on the list. I mean, it's number 21.
I think it's because it's overdone. I think people are just sick of it.
Yeah, and Frozen 2's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Toy Story 3. You've seen that one?
I've seen that one. I did like it, but the ending almost made me cry and didn't appreciate that.
I think they're making a Toy Story 4.
I think I've heard that too.
But yeah, I like Toy Story 3 a lot, but I don't like it as much as Toy Story 1. I probably like it more than Toy Story 2, though.
I have no opinion.
So, Cinderella.
I've seen. Let me think here. Did we recently watch Cinderella?
I haven't. I don't like that movie.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've seen the actual original animated, but I've seen the new one, and I did like the new one. I know the story.
There's like 150 different Cinderellas, but I'm talking about the animated one.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen all of that one. I may have seen parts of it, but I can't even say I have seen that.
Yeah, that's one of my least favorites. Sorry, Amber. I know that's probably your favorite, but
besides Wizard of Oz.
Well, but that's not Disney, man.
Yeah, I know it's not Disney. I haven't seen that though.
You haven't seen Wizard of Oz?
No. We've learned something today, haven't we, Greg?
Oh man. See, people, this is what we're talking about. All right, Pirates of the Caribbean. The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Pirates of the Caribbean. I have not seen parts, and those are some of Alyssa's favorites. And I have not seen any of them. I don't really know why we haven't watched them, but I don't know. It just doesn't really interest me.
They're okay.
Okay,
they're not as great as all the. I mean, they're not the best movies, but a lot of people love them. WALL-E.
I've seen parts of it.
I like WALL-E.
I don't like WALL-E.
It's a cute movie. You haven't seen all of it. You don't know how it ends.
I know how it ends, but I don't know what happened in the middle. Like, doesn't he get like run over or something, and then he like they put him back together?
Yeah, something like that.
Humpty Dumpty.
It kind of is like, it's almost like he becomes a sentient being. A sentient. Is that the right word? Where you know what's going on. He's on a robot anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
All right, that's the top 25. So let's do it.
I see one more on the list here.
That's Fox on the Hound. That's number 26.
I have not seen that, so there you go.
We'll do the top. We just changed it. We're doing the top 26. All right, Fox on the Hound. You haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that one. I don't think I've even seen parts.
I remember watching a lot of that one a lot when I was a kid. I liked it when I was little a lot.
Yeah.
So let's see. All right, so we got.
Looking at it, I think I've seen a good deal of the original, the top ones. I've seen parts of a lot of them, but when we get down lower, I haven't seen a lot of these. So
we'll get our producer to do the math as we wrap up the show.
Thanks, Caleb. All right, well, we will check back with that in a second. But first, do not forget to check our Twitter and our Facebook. That's Upside Up Podcast. You can search that on Facebook. Upside Up Podcast. That's the handle on Twitter. So don't forget to do that. Give us a like or a follow on there, or both. I mean, hey, if you got nothing to do with your life, just listen to us babble about stuff to each other. But anyway, I hope this is going to be beneficial for you. This was more of just an entertainment-based episode, but we will have more serious ones. We may have biblical discussions at some point. We may, like I said, we'll have guests.
We should have Steven.
You see, what we should have done is I should have had Steven here while I told the story.
That would have been great.
That would have been great. Maybe we'll have to do that sometime. I don't know if they'll want to hear the story again, but maybe we'll have him on. We'll have him listen to this episode, and we'll have him on for his response. Maybe we'll have like a segment of Steven's response. That would be cool. Anyway, so next week, we will probably not be putting out a podcast because we will be out of town. Like he mentioned, we're going to be in Disney. So we're definitely excited to do that. I've never been to Disney World, which isn't a shocker, but there you go. So we will not put one out next week. The next week after that, we will probably have kind of a Disney recap here where I was thinking that maybe we could have a little give people tips who are going to Disney World or have never been to Disney World, things you need to know. We may talk about our favorite rides. Maybe we'll have some funny experiences. I'm sure that we will there, so we can talk about that, try to learn from those, and like I said, try to be a good example in this world. So that's what we're trying to do as Christians, and hopefully we can influence you, the listener, for better. And we're very thankful that you've listened to us. Looks like we've got some statistics that are returning. What do I got, Caleb? Why don't you come over here and read what your.
But if you count the movies he's seen parts of as a not seen movie, he has seen 13 of them and not seen 13 of them. So you've only seen
I'm at 50. I've seen
you're 50%
all
of
the way
top.
through. As far as I can remember, I've seen half of the top 26.
And keep in mind, most of these he's seen in the last year and a half.
Yeah, I'm serious. If you'd asked me this a year and a half ago, it would have been at least 80% of these I haven't seen. Like Mulan that comes to my mind. Mulan, Frozen, Tangled, those are Big Hero 6. Only ones.
And those are newer ones.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry guys. I'm sorry I've disappointed you. So anyway, as we were saying, have a little bit of recap of our Disney trip. We'll talk about that some, so look forward to that. And keep an eye on our Twitter and Facebook. We're going to be asking you for questions that, they can be about anything, or we can just have a theme. We can just do Disney. So regardless, keep an eye on that. Give us questions, and you might be on the show in 2 weeks. So we're very excited about that. Any last remarks, Garrett, before we call tonight?
Nope.
Okay, well, that was a good one. All right, well, before we go, I want to give a couple shout-outs. There's a lot of people that help us produce this and get this to what we're hoping it to be, so hopefully you've enjoyed it, but I want to give a shout-out to Katie, our cousin. She helped us with the music.
Well, your cousin, not my cousin.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that'd be kind of weird, because she's also Amber's cousin.
Yeah, that would be... well, okay. Anyway, my cousin Katie... she's very musically talented, and she did excellent work writing and playing the song that you heard at the beginning of this episode, and every episode you're going to hear it at the end as well. And so it's probably about to start playing. So she did a fantastic job. We're really appreciative of her hard work dealing with me trying to get that hammered out. We also want to give a big shout out to Kevin. He helped us out recording that song that you hear, and he's very talented, and so we want to give him a shout out and a big thank you. We want to thank Justin for that horrible joke and everything he's contributed to the show. His jokes are either horribly hilarious or hilariously horrible, and I think
hilariously horrible is what I went into it.
Yeah, I think so too. So anyway, so we appreciate his jokes each episode, even though we mess with him. I want to thank the editors, Caleb and Corbin. Caleb's here with us tonight, and they do a lot of great work for us, helping us out with the technical side stuff I don't understand as much, and they do a great job. They give their time and their energy, and they don't get anything out of it, really. So I want to thank them for that. I personally also want to thank my good buddy Garrett for joining me for this, being my partner on this show. As we grow as podcasters and as entertainers, I think this will be fun and good for us. And
we're gonna be famous.
I doubt we'll be famous. And most of all, I want to thank you for joining us today. You gave of your time and your energy, so we want to thank you for that. Quick note about that: this is really good to listen to in the car. I listen to podcasts as I'm driving to work and stuff. So if you're having trouble finding a place to listen to us, plug that guy up and listen to us on your ride to work or school or whatever, folding laundry. So
yeah, you can't text and drive, but you can podcast and drive. I did look that up.
Oh, you did?
No.
Okay. All right, buddy. This one's going to be on SoundCloud. Hopefully we'll get on iTunes here shortly. We're still looking into that, but you can find us on SoundCloud, Upside Up Podcast. Well, guys, remember to stay upside up in this upside down world. Cling to God's word and do as he commands, and we'll see you next time. Hello and welcome to the Upside Up Podcast. My name is Jeremy. Hello and welcome to the Upside Up Podcast. My name is Jeremy. I'm joined today by my good buddy Garrett Horn, how you doing? We don't need that long
Stellar.
pause. Okay. Be you. Hello and welcome to the Upside Up Podcast. My name is Jeremy. We're so thankful that you're here with us today. I'm joined today by my good buddy, Garrett Horn. How you doing, man?
How did I get here?